Welcome to the explainer. Now, if you ever stared at a slightly murky fish tank with a scrubbing sponge in one hand and just a feeling of absolute dread in the other, well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the true science of aquarium maintenance. If you keep fish, you already know the health of your underwater ecosystem is absolutely paramount. But man, the advice out there, it can be totally overwhelming, conflicting, and honestly, sometimes downright dangerous for your tank. So let's cut through the noise and look at the real facts behind how often you should really be cleaning your aquarium. So right off the bat, let me ask you this. Are you actually cleaning your aquarium too much? I know, it sounds completely counterintuitive, right? Most of us are kind of hardwired to think that a spotless, squeaky clean tank is a naturally healthy one. We basically equate aggressive scrubbing with taking good care of our pets. But as we're going to see today, based on the actual science of aquarium husbandry, cleaning too aggressively might actually be doing far more harm than good to that delicate little environment you've built.
Okay, here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to lay out a structured playbook to make managing your tank a breeze. We'll cover the biological balance secret, weekly light maintenance, the biweekly water change, cleaning substrates and filters, deep cleaning, and finally, letting tank health guide you. All right, let's kick things off with part one, the biological balance secret, and exactly why less is actually more.
Here is the core secret, and it's a real game changer if you haven't thought about it this way before. Your aquarium isn't just a glass box of water. It is a bustling, invisible city. You have this massive workforce of beneficial bacteria living all over your surfaces, and honestly, they're the unsung heroes of your ecosystem. These microscopic helpers have one absolutely vital job: converting the highly toxic waste your fish naturally produce into much safer forms. So think about it. If you scrub every rock with bleach and scour every single inch of glass, you are essentially bulldozing this invisible city. You're completely undoing that crucial nitrogen cycle. But on the flip side, clean too rarely and the waste builds up way past what the bacteria can handle. The true secret to success here is finding that perfect equilibrium, protecting your microbial workforce while keeping the environment pristine. Moving right along, let's get into the actionable stuff with part two, weekly light maintenance basics. And the key word here is simple. Think of this as your breezy, totally minimal routine checklist for what to do every single week. First up, test your water parameters. This is especially vital if your tank is brand new or you're keeping really sensitive fish. You absolutely need to know if toxic compounds like ammonia or nitrite are secretly creeping up on you before they cause a full-blown disaster. Next, just take a minute to watch your fish. Are they acting normal or are they, gasping at the surface? Then, just do a quick visual check of your equipment. Make sure filters and heaters are actually running. You'll also want to gently pull out any obvious visible debris, stuff like uneaten food that's just sitting on the bottom rotting away. And finally, a quick wipe down of the glass just to keep the algae at bay. So the takeaway here, your goal is visual clarity and minimal disturbance. This is definitely not a total tank reset, it's just light housekeeping. Which brings us to section 3, the bi-weekly water change. For most setups out there, this right here is the absolute sweet spot of aquarium maintenance. So figuring out where your specific tank falls on this timeline is actually pretty straightforward once you know what to look for. If you have a heavily stocked tank, say a tank packed with super messy eaters like large cichlids or a bunch of hungry goldfish, you're going to want to be on the shorter end of this spectrum. We're talking water changes about every single week. Now, right in the middle, the 1 to 2 week mark, that's the most common and reliable routine for your standard community freshwater tank with smaller schooling fish. But if your tank is very lightly stocked, heavily planted, and just highly stable overall, you might safely stretch that interval to 2 weeks or honestly even more. And hey, if you keep saltwater systems, they follow these exact same biological principles, though your exact cadences might shift a bit based on your specific coral and livestock needs. The main objective behind a partial water change is brilliantly simple, but it's twofold. First, you're reducing the dissolved waste that's building up in the water column, and second, you're replenishing essential minerals that get depleted over time. But here is the absolutely crucial part. You do this without wiping out your microbial layer. A partial water change is the perfect mechanical action. It removes the bad stuff suspended in the water without destroying the biological balance that's so firmly rooted on your glass, your decor, and your gravel. Let's transition to section 4, cleaning substrates and filters. And more importantly, what not to do, because this is where over-enthusiastic hobbyists tend to make their biggest mistakes. When it comes to your gravel or sand, targeted vacuuming is absolutely your best friend. You want to do this during your water changes, focusing your siphon specifically on obvious waste spots and areas where a lot of mulm has accumulated. But whatever you do, please do not try to sterilize the substrate or do a massive full substrate overhaul. Seriously, if you deep clean your entire substrate all at once, you literally strip away a massive chunk of your biological filtration. This system will totally struggle to recover from that kind of shock, and that can easily lead to sudden deadly ammonia and nitrite spikes. No one wants that. There's a major paradigm shift we need to make here when thinking about our hardware. Routine filter cleaning is all about maintaining flow, not washing away the filter media. Your filters are essentially the beating heart of your beneficial bacteria colony. They should be kept running continuously, not taken apart and scrubbed down constantly. You aren't trying to make the inside of the filter look brand new out of the box. You just want water to be able to pass through it effectively so it can do its job. So, what does a safe filter cleaning actually look like in practice? Well, step 1, just wait. Honestly, don't even touch the filter until the water flow drops noticeably. Step 2, when it is finally time, remove the sponge or media and gently rinse it in old tank water that you've just siphoned out into a bucket. Never, ever use untreated tap water. The chlorine in tap water will instantly wipe out those helpful bacteria. And step 3, only replace or deep clean the media according to the manufacturer's specific guidance. This is especially true for porous media designed specifically to house bacteria. Keep those microbes safe at all costs.
All right, this takes us to part 5, deep cleaning. This is a rare event, and you need to proceed with extreme caution.
Listen, a full tank teardown where you're scrubbing all the rockwork, washing every piece of decor, and cleaning literally every single surface is a very serious, dramatic event for your ecosystem. It should never be part of your routine habit. It is reserved for very specific, extreme situations, like trying to remove a really stubborn pest infestation or fixing a major equipment malfunction. The biggest risk here is completely crashing the tank's biological cycle. I mean, we've all heard the heartbreak stories, right? A well-meaning beginner decides to surprise their fish with a totally spotless, bleached clean tank, only to accidentally cause massive distress to their fish the very next day because the entire ecosystem crashed. If a deep clean is totally unavoidable, you have to proceed in a way that preserves as much of that beneficial bacteria as humanly possible. And finally, Section 6, let tank health guide you. Basically, it's time to ditch the calendar. The absolute most reliable way to choose your cleaning frequency isn't just following a fixed date circled in red on your wall. It's consistent monitoring. Your tank will actually talk to you if you just know how to listen. You just need to keep an eye out for the warning signs. Things like prolonged cloudy water, rising ammonia or nitrate levels on your test kits, persistent foul odors, that rotten egg smell, unexpected surging algae taking over the glass, or fish that are visibly showing stress, like hiding constantly or breathing heavily. If you see these signs, that is your undeniable cue to adjust your maintenance habits away from your baseline. And I want to leave you with this final kind of provocative thought. When something feels off in your aquarium, are you just cleaning it or are you actually fixing the root cause? Repeatedly cleaning a tank with a sponge is just putting a Band-Aid on a bigger problem. Instead, if there's an issue, look at the underlying causes. Are you feeding way too much? Is your stocking level just way too high for the tank size? Is your filtration underperforming, or have you just been inconsistent with those partial water changes? Fix the root cause first. Respect your biological balance, and your aquarium will truly thrive. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. The next time you reach for the algae scrubber, take a second, step back, and ask yourself, what is your tank really trying to tell you?